Wow.
Wow, this is some really deep stuff.
I don't know what just happened, but something happened inside of me. Something snapped, something sick.
I wasn't expecting that
either. Sorry.
It's okay. It's all right. It's beautiful.
Monster is like really small, but it had to become that to stop me.
And then the hurt child became present when you mentioned it.
And I didn't realize this until now.
There were things that I didn't remember until now.
Funny, I haven't seen that before.
It feels like I'm the monster. I'm kind of seeing images of things. Of a world where they can exist. This clarity brings all kinds of answers.
It's clear. She hugged me and then went back to her place, I guess, in my heart. Oh, it wants to come out. It wants to bippity boppity boop Cinderella me. She's melted into my chest. It's ooey gooey.
All week been finishing things, cleaning up more, started eating vegetables again last week. And it kind of just started happening. It's almost like I just finished going through a meditation session.
I feel light. When you hit that first joint, in the morning, and
I actually feel a lot more awake.
So update from the last time that we talked.
Okay.
It's been really good. I've had, the last time we talked, we kind of ended with one of the parts that we met that day was a younger part. And she kind of wanted to spend some time with me. And so we were in a field and we were moving forward, just kind of walking along. And a part that we had met previously was also a young girl. And so the two of them have kind of been hanging out and playing. And that's been a lot of fun for me to experience and to watch them. And they're watching me.
Yeah.
To see what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
Now, it's interesting because the last several days, it seems like if I get to a point of stress or something comes up along those lines, that I don't know if they went into hiding or if they were put back somewhere, but they don't seem to be around right now.
Does that feel like a good thing? Oh, good. The stress is here and they're not here to be a part of that?
It does, but it surprised me.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so there were the two. One had the tools and the other had the bare feet in the meadow.
Yes. Yeah, she was the one that came from the box.
Yeah, and she was worried that she didn't know how. Well, there was some question about how to stay connected, and then you said we're going to camp out.
Yes.
But it sounds like you've stayed connected.
Yeah, well, we just stayed together.
Yeah.
So that was fine. Now, there really hasn't been any connection since, the last few days. I can still kind of tell that they're there, and I get the feeling that they still know that I'm here, but we're not necessarily together, and we're not really communicating at the moment.
Yeah. We can explore that, but the way it's worked in my system sounds kind of like that, where when the trust is built and when they don't feel alone, then they show up when they want and kind of or when you call them kind of thing. Like it doesn't feel, before getting to know them, it's, you don't know them and they come out of nowhere and you can't identify it. And so it could all be great that they're around, but not present all the time.
Mm-hmm. Not required.
Yeah. So yeah,
that's true.
But we could find out. We could get back to getting to know them and find out more about what they're up to, or we could explore anything at all.
I'm getting the impression that while they are not necessarily around and forward, that there's something else that might be coming up tonight, but I don't know what it is.
Would you like to have a minute of meditation?
I would.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And then you can just scan your body and see if anything comes up in that, or you could just take breaths and we'll find out after. I'll set a timer. Okay, that was a minute.
Okay.
Do you have any parts that you'd like to explore, get to know better, change your relationship with?
I do feel like there's something, it feels like it's kind of on my chest or in my chest, and it just feels heavy.
What else do you notice about it?
It's long and thin and heavy. And dense. It's really dense.
And it's been showing up a bunch of recently, or
just now?
Just now? Okay, great. How do you feel towards it?
I feel kind of mad. I don't know why.
Okay.
I was trying to be curious.
Yeah. Mad is okay. Mad is welcome. See if you can let it know that. And you could ask the mad part what it wants you to know or what message it has for you.
Okay, so weird. So the mad part says dance, and it's like, and the other part is just like hanging there and not really responding or anything at all.
Okay. The mad part does it want the other part to be dancing, or
I don't
is it
know.
mad?
That's what I was just wondering. I'm like, first I thought it was me. Now I'm like, is it not me?
Is the mad part you? No. It's a part.
I think it's a part.
Yeah.
It's like up here. Yeah, I think it's part too. But I think it's actually talking to the other part, the dense part.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's kind of mad at the dense part.
Yeah.
So see if you can maybe ask the mad part to notice you.
Mm-hmm.
And to tell you more about anything it wants to tell you, or more about the dance message. Anything.
He says the other part is just laying there, just lays there. It's not doing anything.
How do you feel towards the mad part?
He wants to kick it.
Wants to kick it. Got it. Yeah, how do you feel towards the mad part?
Open.
Great. Yeah, let it know that. Let it know it's okay to be here
Okay.
and that you'd like to get to know it. You could just
Yeah,
ask.
he likes that.
Great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it wants to kick the heavy one.
Mm-hmm.
What other messages does it have for you? What else does it want you to know about it?
It doesn't seem important, but it's like I'm skinny.
The mad part is?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You could ask why it wants you to know that.
Okay.
Why that's important for it to let you know.
Because it does stuff. I'm skinny because I do stuff.
Is the heavy part not skinny?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. Skinny, active.
Yeah, he's mad at the other part for not doing anything, for just sitting there,
Yeah.
being dense.
Does that make sense to you why this part would be mad about that?
Not really, but I could understand that kind of.
Yeah. You could ask more about it.
Okay.
Maybe what their relationship is or anything.
This isn't making any sense. They're married.
Okay. All right. Yeah. You could ask like what that means.
Okay. A couple, two sides of the same coin,
Yeah.
but they're not shaped like coins. They're shaped like green string beans or something.
I just want to say them being married actually makes tons of sense to me. Even without the details, it's such a common, if they're polarized, if they're both trying to achieve something, they might both have the same exile. They're like two parents that, this is just common with all kinds of parts. I don't know if it will apply here, but it can be like two parents who have different views of how we're supposed to deal with this problem child, let's say. A child. And yeah, one says, work harder. And the other says, oh, don't be so hard on them. And anyway.
Let them dance.
Yeah. Right.
Huh. Okay.
But I guess that might also mean that, and you could ask the part, how long has it been married? How long has it been in this system? How long has it been mad at this other part?
3 months,
Okay. Honeymoon.
I guess.
And does it want to tell you more about that? Was there something that went on 3 months ago? As usual, you don't need to share any details with me if you don't want to.
Okay. Something hid 3 months ago. Yeah, like I'm being shown that there's something tucked down, like in the cracks or something. It's hidden. I don't know what would have happened 3 months ago.
You could ask it more about what was hidden. Or how it feels about that.
I feel like the answer to that is a child, but I wasn't a child 3 months ago, so I don't know where that would have came
No,
from.
but you're full of them. We all are. And what's this part's concern if it doesn't do what it does, if it doesn't chastise or be mad at the heavy part? What's it concerned would happen?
The child would unfold.
Unfold?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And is there more it wants to show you about that? Or you could ask about what would be bad about that child unfolding?
Mm. It would come out. Right now it's like dark and I want to say slatted, like it's in a slat.
Mm-hmm.
So if it comes out, it's going to unfold, and I don't know what's in the fold.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So maybe just some fear of the unknown there about what that might be.
Right.
Are there any other fears or concerns that it wants to show you?
It seems really agitated, and it seems like it doesn't want the child to come out.
Yeah.
It just doesn't want that to happen.
Okay.
But it really wants the dense part to move.
So by the dense part not moving, that might allow the child to unfold.
I guess, but that doesn't make any sense to me.
Would it be useful, and you can check this out with the part, to now go chat with the heavy part, and just to learn more about what's up for it?
Okay.
Would this mad part be okay with that? What does it think about you doing that?
All right, let me see. Well, it kind of thinks that the dense part is useless, and it really doesn't necessarily want me to talk to it
Yeah.
because it's useless.
Okay.
There's no point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, that makes sense. If it's a useless part, then we'd be wasting our time, huh?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that would be a first for me, but I can respect that part's concern. Would it be willing to give you space and let you have a try?
Yeah, I feel like there was a hole that kind of opened. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Great. Thank the mad part.
Okay.
And you can let it know that you can come back and hang out with it and learn more about it
Okay.
some other time.
All right.
How are you feeling towards the heavy part?
Curious.
Can you let it know that? Let it know you'd like to get to know it.
Okay. I feel like it has a secret inside of it.
It might.
Mm.
And
That was only shown to me after the other part left. The other part went under a rock.
yeah, I'm guessing it couldn't show you secrets with the other part being mad at it, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I'll just remind again that I don't need to know the secrets. You
Okay.
can let it know that.
Okay.
You just ask it to let you know anything it wants.
Okay. I feel like there's a story unfolding. It's underneath like that.
An unfolding story about a child?
Yeah, I think it is.
Okay. You all right with it just showing you whatever it has to show you?
Yeah.
Okay, just let it know that.
So there's an energy that came up in my lower throat here. And I can kind of, when you hear like a baby cry, like kind of wail, that's kind of how it feels like. That's kind of a dense for that to be happening.
Did you say dense?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Does it feel like this part is crying, or does it feel like there's another, it wants you to know about another part?
It's inside.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's inside. So this one feels like it was covering and sheltering, Probably because that mad part.
Yes, and it sounds like they both are concerned about a child,
Yeah.
the same child.
Mm-hmm.
They're the married couple.
Yeah.
What does it want you to know about its job and how it does it, why it does it, how it feels about doing its job, the heavy part?
I feel like it doesn't want to say.
Okay. That's okay.
So I'm asking, how am I going to know? How am I going to know? How can I help? So he wants me to go to the mad part. I can help from the mad part.
Okay.
He's got the baby.
The dense one does?
Yeah. I got the baby. But that.
Mad part threatens.
Yeah.
You can let it know that you want to get to know all the parts and that you will get back with the mad part.
Okay.
But if it's okay, just sharing more of anything about itself.
Okay.
While you're here with it. Its concerns. How it likes its role.
I feel like it wants to release the baby. It doesn't want to
Yeah.
cover it up and shelter it. It wants to release it.
Mm-hmm.
But the way that it opened so that its back is facing the mad one. So it really wants to keep its back and keep that kind of almost like a wall up between it and the baby.
Does that make sense to you?
I guess I would do that.
It's protecting.
Yeah.
How does it notice you? Like, how does it feel about you and your presence?
Mm-hmm. Kind of like I'm irrelevant.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like it knows I'm there, but it feels like I'm irrelevant.
Is it kind of like irrelevant, like, well, you haven't really helped with this important job that it's doing, so it's got to focus on the job and doesn't see you as an aid in that?
Let me see. I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does that make sense to you that
Yeah.
you've just been out of the loop with this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
I just told it I didn't know. I didn't know.
Yeah.
So apparently there was supposed to be some information relayed. I'm feeling like there was a chain where the way the information was supposed to go, but I didn't get it.
Right.
And now he's kind of saying, well, the mad part didn't pass it.
Hmm.
The mad part kept the information. That's what he's saying.
You could ask more about what this part means when it talks about releasing the baby, what it would want in that, and what it's afraid would happen. I mean, I know it's concerned about the mad part, but if it has more to show you about.
So what it means would be freedom. Like freedom is what came up. The biggest concern is that the baby isn't able to sustain on its own.
Right.
And there's a definite like wall between the baby and the mad part.
Yeah. And this heavy part is kind of responsible for that wall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's why it's so dense, it said. That's why I'm so dense.
Because if the baby was exposed to the mad part, that would be overwhelming.
Would not be good, is what
Yeah.
I'm hearing.
Is this all making sense to you or resonating?
Probably.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I would think that would.
Maybe you could appreciate this. Just show this part appreciation for doing
Okay.
what it does.
Yeah.
It's got
a
a
good thing
protective
it's
role.
there.
You could also ask it what it would rather be doing if it didn't have to work so hard to protect that baby.
He's not going to answer that because he's got this responsibility.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I'm just looking for the different strengths that this part might have and how it would like to be able to use them if it didn't have to.
Oh.
If the baby could be protected another way or healed so it didn't need protection.
It's saying its strength is loyalty. So
Yeah.
it's loyal and it's loyalty. And its loyalty is it's going to keep that wall there.
Yeah. You can feel free to throw the headset off if you want.
Okay.
Okay. We're with this loyal part.
Yes.
And it's been very patient with us. So thank you to that part. I was curious to know how old that it thinks that you are.
3 months.
Okay.
That's why I remember the mad part said it was mad for 3 months.
Yeah. So it thinks that you're the baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently so.
Well, that would also make a lot of sense.
Yes, that would.
Because it had to come in and do this job. Perhaps when you were actually 3 months.
Maybe.
Do you want to show it your real age?
Yeah. I get the impression he doesn't think that's me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not me.
Maybe just stay with this for a moment,
Okay.
because it is a lot to take in.
So, yeah, he's really putting separation between me and that age that I told him that I was.
Mm-hmm.
And he can show me I'm 3 months. This is 3 months.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's really valuable to learn all about that 3-month-old. So
Yes.
we do need that information.
Okay. He's agreeing. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's all very important. And also the fact that you're not 3 months old yourself is pretty important to establish.
It seems like he's thinking if this baby's not 3 months, what am I doing this for?
Well, I don't think that we're saying that the baby's not 3 months. We're saying
He
that,
thinks that's what we're saying.
yeah.
The baby's not 3 months.
No, the one who's asking it questions and getting to know it. You are not 3 months. These parts aren't alone. It thought that it was in this place with this 3-month-old and a mad part because it didn't recognize or have an experience of your presence.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's the news.
Yeah. It's been alone. It feels like there weren't, it was kind of isolated.
Right. And so that's what we're updating it with, is that it doesn't have to be alone, that you're here and that you have this power of going to parts, of understanding parts, of helping out all of them.
Mm-hmm.
And part of that has to do with the fact that you're not 3 months old.
Right. Well, he could use some help, he said. He could
Great.
use some help.
Great. Yeah.
They didn't expect the cavalry, he said.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it's quite a shock for a lot of parts.
Interesting, because I feel like the one with the tools and the other one from the box, they're sort of moving around now.
Yeah. How are they feeling?
Curious.
They like seeing you getting involved and
Yeah.
because they've had that nice experience. Yeah. Well, maybe they can help testify to your age and your abilities.
Yeah. Yeah. They're curious about the baby. They want to help. Yeah, they definitely want to help with the baby. And the other part is okay. The other part's okay. He just looked back when I said that over his shoulder to see what the mad part was doing.
Right. So we still got to look out for that, right?
Yes.
Okay. So does this part feel more caught up on who you are and
Yeah, a little
day?
bit.
Yeah.
It feels like he doesn't know me,
Right.
but he can see that I'm here and that I'm willing.
That's right. You're willing to take that time to get to know him,
Yeah.
to have him get to know you. You have these other parts who are cheering for you, or they're on your side, these other young parts who have been helped. I remember that girl in the meadow part saying about how you're all a family.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, I feel like the dense part still feels very isolated. It feels like it's not part of the family. It doesn't feel like it's part of the family.
And what does it need from you to feel that way? Or what does it want from you?
It doesn't know me, it said. I don't know you. Time. Time in the day when we're awake means. I don't know.
Interesting.
And now the darkness where the crack was, where the unfolding was, that feels like it's lighter.
Yeah, maybe some hope about how that could unfold in a safe way.
Oh, yes. That feels right.
And I'm curious about the time when having time together when we're awake, if it's saying like to be prioritized, to be put in that kind of time of day when you're, I don't know, more energized or whatever. I'm only guessing that because that's what my parts say. They say, well, yeah, put me on the calendar like your other important appointments, in the daytime.
That's really good. Yeah. I feel like that's an agreeable.
Yeah. Yeah. So anything that this part wants from you, any requests it has of you, we will address the mad part and do all kinds of more getting to know, but just, is there anything specific that it wants to ask of you?
Well, it seems to be confused about us asking what else it would do, and that sort of questioning, because it's like that mad part, like that mad part is not going away.
Right. Yeah. And the answer is the same, kind of like you said to the mad part. Let me talk to him.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of, once you're able to understand the parts, first, you don't need them to go away. And second, you can find solutions with them that the parts themselves can't find between each other.
Right.
They just don't have all those qualities that you have.
Right.
As self.
They've had other jobs to do.
Yep.
He throws his hands up and says, "Okay, then."
It has some trust for for the way you work. It has some trust for the way you work, or the idea that you might.
I think it wants to be shown, like, show me.
Great.
Show me.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a loyal part. It wouldn't just give up its job without.
Right.
Without knowing. And we're also not asking it necessarily to just give up its job. We're just trying to find ways to make its life easier and not having to fight with other parts,
It really, when you said all that you said, and then you said not having to fight with other parts, it was like grabbing, like, I want that.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Okay. What would you like to do next? I'm happy to shift and try going back to that mad part, or stay with this part, or
yeah.
whatever.
Let me see what that looks like if we could go back to the mad part.
Okay. Thank this part for all the insight and everything it does.
Okay. So I feel like there's a little bit of shuffling around, like to shade the baby, and the two girls are kind of in that area now.
Yes, excellent.
And he's like shading them from the mad
Excellent.
part.
Right. Yep. You got it.
Getting a little nervous now.
Okay. Nervous is welcome. What's that nervous part want to tell you or concerned about?
The uncontrollable nature of the mad part.
Right? Does that make sense to you?
Yeah. It's kind of like a tsunami.
Mm-hmm.
That mad part just swells up and takes over everything.
Yeah, and the nervous part has seen that before. It's seen the destructiveness of the mad part.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, kind of like these other ones, you can just show it who you are, show it your real age. You can offer it to go in the shade also, and let it know that you can be with the mad part without it overwhelming you.
Yeah, this one's going to face the mad part one.
Okay. The nervous one is?
The nervous one is, yes.
Okay.
Inviting the angry part, the mad part back.
Mm-hmm.
But I've told it needs to stay over here by the rock.
The mad part does?
Yes.
Okay. So the nervous
I told
part
it
wants
it needs to stay there.
and the nervous part wants to keep an eye on the mad part.
Yes.
I wonder if the nervous part could go beyond the rock, and the mad. Well,
No, he's staying down there
Yeah.
with the family.
I guess what I'm thinking about is you creating a space with the mad part that the mad part is comfortable in.
Okay. Well, there is another part of me that that I am aware of that is very protective and shows up like that if something comes up that feels threatening. And that part is kind of there with that mad part.
Okay.
Because if that mad part does anything,
Okay.
the other part is going to shut it down.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Makes sense to me. Because I don't know that's okay. And that if it needs to jump in, it can.
Okay.
But again, just kind of asking them that, just kind of letting them know that when you're in self energy, these parts aren't going to overwhelm you. Maybe they have in the past, maybe they have in certain situations, and these other parts are needed. But you could make that space. It's kind of asking them to step back while also allowing them to do what they need to do.
Yeah, this part doesn't have a lot of trust.
Okay. How's the mad part feel about talking with you under these at the moment?
I feel like it's shifting, you know, like when you shift from one leg to the other, or you're kind of like pacing a little bit, standing still, but pacing a little bit. That's kind of how it feels. It's shifting. That one protector part, it sat on the rock right over there by the mad part.
How do you feel towards the mad part?
Yeah, I kind of feel angry towards it.
Okay. And what's that anger about? What does the anger want you to know?
Because it's uncontrollable. The mad part is just uncontrollable. And that makes it angry.
Yeah. Let it know that makes sense and that you'd like to just get to know it. Just like getting to know any part that might be able, that can help with that. Just see how it responds.
By getting very sleepy.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. I don't know what that's about.
Does it trust you to work with the mad part? Or is it willing to go have its nap?
It's kind of like, you know, in The Wizard of Oz when they walked into the field of poppies and they all laid down and went to sleep.
Uh-huh.
It's kind of like that. Like I suddenly feel like I just want to lay down and go to sleep.
Okay. Yeah.
Just exhausted.
Let it know. I mean,
The mad part's exhausted.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Does it also want to lay down and go to sleep, the mad part?
It's the mad part that wants to go to sleep.
You feeling curious about that?
Yeah.
Just let it know that you're curious. Why it's exhausted.
Well, it's like the baby, and it's just exhausting. Being so mad all the time.
Doesn't like having to do that.
No.
Is there more it wants to show you about why it has to do that? It already said about the baby unfolding. Is there more it wants to let you know about why it has to work so hard? It feels like it needs to.
No, it's not sharing anything, but there's like an uneasiness. It's uneasy, really uneasy. It's kind of like scanning the room, you know? That kind of uneasiness.
Yeah, what does it see in the room?
It's dark.
Mm-hmm.
It's dark, but there are things in the darkness that are scary.
And how does it feel about you being there with it?
It was like, oh, you're here? Yeah, because remember, those two parts were alone. They were kind of isolated.
Right. So is that a good thing for it that you're here?
Yes, it likes that I'm a mature age.
Yeah.
Yeah, I told it how old I was.
Does it think that you might be able to help out with any of those scary things in the dark?
This part is just like every time I ask it a question like that, it's like I don't see how you could possibly. Like I just don't see how that could possibly work.
Yeah. It's kind of what they all say. You know? They've been doing it their way, either avoiding something or pushing something down. And then you show up with all these magic tricks.
Magic got the curiosity. Now the angry part is curious.
Yeah.
There's magic?
Yeah. How about the magic of you being with it and it's not alone? Or the magic of you getting these other parts to step back just a little so that it could open up to you.
Okay.
I mean, does it notice that? How's it feel about all that?
It's saying okay, but I don't know what you said.
I was just calling attention to all that you've done already with this part.
Okay.
You've gotten it alone.
Mm-hmm.
You've become curious about it.
Mm-hmm.
You got these other parts that were anxious or protective to relax a little and to let this part talk with you.
Mm-hmm.
You've demonstrated that you can be with it without being overwhelmed, without it being out of control.
Right.
And so those are just some of your powers.
It likes magic. It's like light and dancy, and
That's right.
I like magic. Magic tricks. Show me a trick.
can show it a trick. You can take it out of any place that it feels like it's stuck. You can dance with it. You could ask it what it would rather be doing and what it wants from you, or what it wants, just if it could have anything.
Mm. It likes magic and tricks. Wants to sort of build on that and to create some magic.
I'm picturing this part kind of has it's got some fire, and it can be destructive, out of control, and it can also be magic.
That seems right.
You could let it know that you talked to that heavy part, that you got some insight about the baby, and you could ask this mad part if it, what it thinks about that, what it thinks about the whole child unfolding danger now that you're around.
So while you were saying that that mad part kind of got out of control and it started to set the prairie on fire.
Are you okay with that?
No.
No? Okay.
And so what happened then, when you refocused at the very end, then it was like it stomped out the fire, and I was like relieved because everything was about to go up.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, he magically did put it out.
How was it magically put out?
Kind of stomped out.
Okay, and this part did that?
Yeah.
So it has the ability to modulate.
It's showing that it does, yes.
And it can negotiate that with you.
It kind of likes being out of control.
Yeah, we need that for some of the magic. That's part of its power, right?
Yeah.
And I hear that there's concern of the fire almost got out of control, but I mean, I'm looking at you and the overwhelm. I mean, how is it for you to just be able to witness that process and watch it come and go like that?
Well, it was pretty neat. I mean, it was frightening actually to know that he was starting that fire.
And how quickly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But it was really neat to just like that. He just put it out.
Yeah. Now, he's not frightened of the fire, is he?
No.
Okay.
No, he was kind of
yeah. So I'm just going to suggest that there are parts of you that are frightened of the fire, and if you were to get space from them, that you and this mad part, you could go dance in the fire. You and the mad part, you can be in a space where the mad part can do whatever it wants and is safe with you, and that it can be itself.
Okay.
And you can learn about it and yeah, what makes it mad? How do you turn up that madness so high? What would you rather be doing? And the frightened parts can go and learn to trust you.
Oh, it's really excited about that. Yes.
Yeah. And you can show the frightened parts. I can do that. I can do that with any part.
Yeah. Now the dense part and the nervous part and the kids are still all down here, and they're kind of like separate, not really feeling it,
Right. Right.
But the parts that were kind of off to the right, they get it because they were there for it. So,
and they felt like they needed to be, because they
they're
need to wave
now.
that flag and say, "Uh-oh, it's out of control." But the mad part's excited about you actually being closer to it. That's right. It would be able to go to you, be understood by you, rather than being kept in check
Right.
by other parts.
The exhaustion seems to be shedding. Shedding is the word.
Yeah. Imagine it was exhausted having these other parts managing it. That would also be exhausting. Could ask it what it wants from you or needs from you going forward.
Time, entertainment, and space. And the space seems to be, I want to almost say geographic, not like energetic.
How do you feel about giving it those things?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
It's looking back at the other, the dense part and the nervous part and the kids. It's curious, like, what about that? This one does not have the loyalty that the dense part does. But it is, and it's ready to leave, but it's wondering about that.
Yeah. Yeah. And it doesn't, so the parts don't have to have relationships with each other in any, at all, really. I mean, they have for a long time, a lot of them. But I think that's kind of the shift, is that they can have, their primary relationship can be with you. And they can all start trusting that you're with the dense part, you're with the child parts, and you're with the mad part, so that they don't have to spend so much energy concerned with the others. And they might want to, they might agree to, so it's not like it's off the table. It's just kind of becoming that leader for each of them.
I'm surprised that this one's ready to walk away. So
yeah.
Yeah.
And it feels good. It feels like it's in a better space, or.
Yeah, like it just wants to leave. Wiping its hands. Done.
And you'll continue being available for it, to provide it time, entertainment, and space, or to help it find where it's going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so I'm saying yeah. And it's kind of like, I don't really need you.
Some parts just want to take off. They're going to be with you forever, but they want to go on vacation. And that happens.
Yeah, vacations seem to resonate.
Okay. So any more you want to get to know about that part, or negotiate with it, or ask of it?
I'm asking that it not be destructive. And it said, okay. Don't be destructive. And if you have a problem, you should come to me. I'll be here. You can find me here.
How does it feel about that?
Okay, but magic, I can do magic. Yes, you can do magic. But not destructive or harmful magic. No black magic.
Yeah.
Okay, it said. And if you have a problem, come to me.
Yeah.
It's good.
Sounds good. Okay. Well, maybe you kind of could draw to a close with that part. Let these other parts know that, sometimes it's good to just check in with everybody you met along the way and say, look, I talked to the mad part, I talked to the dense part.
Mm-hmm. So the dense part doesn't really believe that the mad part left. Dense part does not believe a lot of what I say.
It's fine. It's got a very important job. It's a loyal part.
Mm-hmm.
So that's fine. That's something that you can demonstrate over time is your relationship with the mad part and your ability to provide what it needs so that it doesn't feel like it needs to become out of control or to use any black magic.
Mm-hmm.
Or if it does, it can do that in a safe, contained place with you.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, that's the process. It takes time to demonstrate that, to earn their trust. And in the meantime, we couldn't ask them to just stop doing what they're doing. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm asking that. I wasn't quite sure what to do about because there's several parts down, that are left over there, the dense part, the nervous part, and the two girls and the baby. And I said, the dense part, you can keep the baby. You can keep the baby safe. And the nervous part wants to keep watch. It wants to watch is the word. And I said, but I want the girls back. I want them to come back with me.
Yeah.
But they're going to come visit, but they're not going to stay with you.
Are they happy with that?
There's a little bit of, I want to say, angst about that.
Dense part doesn't want to go back to being alone in its job?
Maybe.
Maybe you could offer it something. Maybe you could send it a gift for the baby or something.
It wants me to put it in the wagon.
Okay.
Put everything in the wagon.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The wagon out on the prairie.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah. Baby's locked up. Nervous part's there, and everything is in the wagon. That's happy.
That sounds nice.
Yeah. It's not alone. It's coming.
Right.
It's coming, but it's going to hold the baby.
Right.
It's going to hold the baby.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
That is so, I never know what's going to come up when we talk.
No? Yeah.
But it feels so different when it's over.
Mm-hmm.
Like internally, it feels so different.
Yeah.
It's kind of a relief. Today feels really like a relief. Sometimes it feels just like clarity.
Mm-hmm.
Today feels relieved.
Yeah, well, these parts were in this unhappy marriage. It's tension.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't know other solutions. They felt alone.
Yeah.
And even though all the problems aren't necessarily solved or whatever, and you still have, work to do to continue those relationships. It's clear that you're able to do that.
Yeah.
Good place to stop.
Yes, absolutely.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Good job.
Good job. Yeah, thank you.
Thanks to all your parts.
That was amazing. Yeah. Okay. It's so freeing not to have that burden anymore. Like tonight, it really feels like a burden. Like that shifted. I feel like there's all this extra space in there now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just trying to, it feels like a vast open area. And I'm just like, okay, it's okay to have a vast open area.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to fill it with anything. Mm. The magic.
Yep.
The magic is filling this space. Weird. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. So, yeah, the magic is already working and it's already filling the space. And it's kind of like just fluttering around.
Yeah.
Now, this is vacation, it said. This is vacation.
Yep. All from your living room.
That was amazing, James.
Yeah. Thank you.
Sat on the rock and watched the angry part. The intensity of that is way down.
Yeah. And
Just for a couple minutes there, it was like ready to, if that angry part would have got out of hand, it was just like ready to shatter it, just like.
Yeah, that's what it's had to do. And you've been so good about staying in touch with parts that you've met.
I know. Well, it's so much fun. Like,
I think so.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Because that can be, that's when it goes wrong is people do this. They put their toes in the water and then they don't follow up with any of the parts. And then everybody's got to go back to their old jobs. They're back to being alone.
Right. Yeah, no, we're finding resolution at the end of each session.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad that the dense part wanted to go in the wagon because I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do with you, And then when you said, is it okay being alone? It was like, put me in the wagon. Yeah, it didn't like being isolated.
Yeah. And it might still feel alone in it's responsible for the baby. And that's kind of the future work is, okay, let me get in there too. Let me get into that space in the wagon with you and see how I can help with that.
Mm-hmm.
So the parts we met are protectors. They're the married parents of this baby, which you didn't really work with the baby. So that's the exile work.
Yeah.
But yeah, diffusing the tension and getting people to lay their weapons down It's necessary. And just updating them that you're here, you can do it.
Mm-hmm. It's so interesting because being aware of this now too, I mentioned this earlier, was that, I told you before, I have that one friend who talks to his one part, which like really surprised me, but I can recognize that now that, you know, when I hear somebody say something like that, I'm like, oh, what they're doing. And then the other day in the car, mentioned everybody seems like people have, you know, more than one side or something like that is what he said. And that sometimes they're opposing and that sometimes there's multiple ones in there. And he's like, you have to figure out, you know, am I willing to deal with that?
Right. Who am I talking to today?
So I asked him if we could have more of a conversation about that because I didn't really follow up on how his experience of that was, because I was so excited that he said that. I was like, oh my God, like that actually is a thing, like it's real.
Yeah.
And so
well,
I told him all about your work and stuff.
Awesome. Yeah, a lot of people intuit it without hearing about it, or, you know, it's in a lot of traditions. It's in a lot of other things we've learned about. I think that's why it's, for so many people, it's kind of so easy to jump right into, because it's like, it's been there all along. It's not some, here's the book you got to read to learn how to do this. You know, let me educate you. It's like, is there voices in your head? Yes. All right. Talk to them.
Right. Yeah. What's surprising me is that how many of them there are.
Yeah.
Is that normal?
Yeah.
Like everybody has that?
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah.
Yeah, when you started separating these into different parts, like that surprised me, but then I was like, yeah, it is a different part. And that's a different part. And so we ended up with
and yet still
8 parts tonight.
Right. And
Some
still,
like
like,
before, but yeah.
when it comes to a family, 8 is a manageable number of people to know. And if there are a couple dozen more in there, that's fine. You know, there aren't thousands.
Right.
Yeah.
So the exiles, they sort of get protected and time warped or whatever, like lost in space.
Yep.
Left there.
Yep. Because they still have those qualities of that child. And a lot of those qualities, they're vulnerable. They're not allowed in certain places or times or families, and so those protectors have to find a way to shut that down, do something about it. But those parts of you that are vulnerable, that are young, you know, they're still in there.
Now, will they evolve? Do you think? Is that typical?
I think that in a way, just there's the evolution through the relationship and the conversation. Like they've already kind of evolved just in getting to know you. They don't have to play a certain role anymore.
Right.
As far as like exiles evolving, I think they can kind of be what they want. You know, some of them might feel like they're 4 years old, but really they're 8 years old. You know, they're kind of like regressed in a way. And so some of them kind of want to grow up or will kind of spontaneously grow up some. But that's just one more thing you can kind of negotiate with them. You know, how old do you feel? kind of thing. How old do you want to be? Yeah. But yeah, the evolution is in the relationship and their ability to communicate with you. And as you navigate out in the world, just their safety and comfort, knowing that the stressful thing can come up and they can go in the wagon, in the shade.
Right.
That's why when you first said that, I was thinking, that might be a good thing. That might be exactly how you want it to work.
Mm-hmm.
Don't expose these parts to these scenarios, these type of people.
Right.
Do you want to help bring more self-energy to the world? If you'd like to participate in calls or help out with this project in any way, I'd love to hear your ideas. Join the Discord server or contact me at james@liveifs.com. A huge thanks to our audio engineer, Yvonne, for your care and diligence in editing the calls. To every caller for your courage in sharing some of your parts. And to anyone out there getting to know their internal system, keep going. Who knows? That might be the most selfless, helpful thing you can do for others, and you're the only one who can do it. If you'd like to see us reach the largest audience, we must please the almighty suggestion algorithms at iTunes and YouTube. And they don't care about the power of IFS. They're looking for likes and shares and comments, and the sooner the better. Follow the links in the show notes right here in your podcast player to make your wishes known. And now, a minute of meditation. Or if you prefer, pull over. You can do it in 60 seconds. Just click one of those links. They're right there, and give us a like or a 5-star rating. It would really help. If you think this project is helping people, you're helping people by sharing it. Thank you.